Okay, and well done everybody. How una dey? So we go start the journey for wetin we dey call programming language. But before we go deep, I first wan make we talk about wetin language itself be. Because I believe say for us to fit understand how programming language dey work, we first need to understand wetin language itself be. Because na from there we go fit take move enter how we take dey use programming. So first of all, make we talk about language. Wetin language be? So if I'm to ask, if I say my ask una now say wetin language be to una, wetin you go talk say e be? Well, if you know the answer, you fit help us put am for the comment section. But if you no know the answer, make I just go straight to the point. Language na system wey people use to communicate, express idea and share information. Dat one mean say if I wan tell you something, as we be human being now, if I need to dey talk for language wey you fit understand, because like the one wey me I dey speak now, no be everybody for the world understand am. And na one of the reason wey be say I dey use this language na for people wey dey Nigeria wey understand the language to take understand am and how to use am code. So language na something wey we take dey pass information from one person to another, to share ideas, to express your ideas and also to share information. E fit involve speaking words, that is, e fit be say na word wey we dey talk, or how we take dey write, or the way, the body language wey I give you, and the way I take dey communicate the ideas dem. So combination of all of these things, spoken word, written symbols, gesture, all of them together na im dey make language. People dey use language to interact with one another, convey thoughts and pass on culture from one generation to another. Like this language wey I dey speak to you now na pidgin English. But pidgin English wey we know so, I no sure say pidgin English dey this country not until the oyinbo enter our country come colonize us. After that, we sef we dey try adopt to their own language. Na im make us today break am into small small languages wey we dey speak, wey we dey call pidgin English, wey dem dey call broken English. So from one generation to another, na so we dey pass am over and over. Whether na Yoruba you dey speak, na Igbo you dey speak, na Hausa you dey speak, abi even though na French you dey speak, no be the day wey dem born person start to dey speak am. Na wetin person learn. And person go learn am based on the person wey the person grow with. If you grow with your parents, the language wey your parents dey speak to you when you dey small, na im go determine wetin you go sabi. Different society get different language. Like I just mentioned now, say we get Yoruba, we get Igbo, we get Hausa. And each language fit get unique grammar, vocabulary and rules wey dem dey follow. Meaning the way wey you take dey pronounce word, the way wey you take dey write them, the way wey you take dey put them one come before the other, or the other come before this one, dey determine the rule wey dem take dey follow, take dey do how language go be for person ear. Language fit also be a tool for creative expression, education and documentation of knowledge. Like I take dey talk to you now, I dey use this pidgin English dey educate you. Some people na French dem dey use. If person wey I dey talk to, wey I dey try communicate with, if e no understand this thing wey I dey talk, there is nothing for the person to do. Na to just dey look. So language na wetin we take dey communicate among ourselves. Now, we don talk about language. Let's talk about machine language, because if you go remember, I talk say na computer we wan talk about. So we just talk about wetin language itself be. So how e take dey relate? Because if you dey hear, you go dey hear programming language, machine language. How e take dey related? Now, if you look at this shape wey you see, if you look on top, all this picture wey I show you so, among these two pictures, the only things wey you go dey see wey dey there na 0, 1, 0, 1. Wetin come be this 0, 1? Wetin e mean? Some of una fit don see am say all the time if you dey see programmers or you dey see people wey dey work with computer, you go dey see them, sometimes you go dey see zeros and one. That's the agbawo, the programmers wey dey work with computer. But wetin this 0 and 1 dey for? I go explain am, because na wetin we dey call machine language. Machine code na low level programming language, meaning na programming language but na im be the one wey dey small pass. Machine code na low level programming language wey computer fit understand directly. E just as if you dey talk to a Yoruba man wey no know anything apart from Yoruba, the only way you fit take explain to the person na if you speak Yoruba. If you speak another language, the person no go understand. Same go for Igbo, same goes for Hausa. So the language wey person fit understand directly na wetin we dey call machine code. The language wey all these things wey we dey type for computer, say you dey press, say you dey, all of those things computer no understand. So wetin computer himself go understand na zeros and one, but we human being we no understand am. So we dey call am binary code. E be binary code wey consist of sequence of zeros and one representing instructions wey the computer central processing unit, that is CPU, fit execute. So these zeros and one na wetin we dey put together wey the central processing unit of the computer itself dey understand and execute, take dey perform in action directly. Any other thing wey you dey pass give your computer no understand am. But if you dey press computer, we no dey press all of these things now. We no dey press zeros and one alone. We dey press many other things. How e take be? All of that I will explain. Each type of CPU get im own machine code. That means every CPU get the way they take dey interpret their own 1 and 0. And the instruction dey specific to an architect of the CPU. Meaning, every computer wey get im own separately, the architect, the way wey e take dey behave, they don design am make the computer understand am that way. Machine code dey different. We get high-level programming language like Python, Java, or C, wey human beings fit easily read and understand. Wey be wetin me I go dey try to dey teach una for these lessons as these courses dey go on. But those things na wetin we dey call high level. Remember, say machine code or machine language, we dey call am low level. But programming language, we get wetin we dey call high level language, wey dey very similar to wetin human being understand, because we no write them with zeros and one. We dey write them with English word, but they get their own pattern. They get their own way. Instead, machine code na the actual set of instructions wey the CPU dey fit execute directly, like I talk am before. Any other thing wey you dey tell your computer ABC, your computer no dey understand am. But how your computer come take dey understand this? All of this I go explain. Even I go show you the working on how we take dey generate am. But before we get there, we need to first understand all these basics. Now, make we go wetin we dey call computer language versus human language. Now, computer language na the zeros and one wey I just show you now versus human language. How e take dey relate? How e be say when human being type one certain character, a computer go fit understand am, a computer go fit execute am. Na wetin I wan explain to you. How we take reach there wey be say we write normal English, we write normal Yoruba, we write normal Igbo, and our computer dey understand am and fit give us result through am. We need to start from wetin e be. So computer dey translate characters to binary. That binary wey I dey talk, meaning every character wey exist for any language, there is a binary code wey they don create wey we dey use translate am. So computer dey translate character to binary using wetin we dey call character encoding scheme. Please, I want make you get that thing for your mind. Character encoding scheme. Wetin be this character encoding scheme? We go go into am. But character encoding na the way wey dem take represent characters like letters, digits, symbol, your A, your B, your C, your 1, 2, 3, your at, your hash, your plus, your minus. All of these things na pattern wey they don set down, wey they take dey represent this letter, digit, and symbol as binary number. Meaning they don set a pattern down. They don do one kind architect down where we take dey represent each of these characters. Now, the computer needs to first translate am, every character, to this binary system wey dem create, so that the computer go fit understand am. So that's why we take character encoding scheme na the way wey dem take represent characters as binary numbers, wey computer fit understand and store for memory and send am go through network. Meaning, before your computer fit send something through network, or if you say store am, e go first convert am to binary, which is your machine code, which is your machine language. But all of those things you fit no dey see am, but na wetin dey happen under your CPU for top your central processing unit. All of that we go still go deep into am. Different character encoding scheme dey, but the one wey people use pass na the one wey we dey call ASCII. That means we get plenty type, but the one wey people dey use pass na the one wey we dey call ASCII. The full meaning is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Na im be the full name, but we dey short am to wetin we dey call ASCII. Na im the one wey people dey use pass, because most of the times na the English people we take dey code. Although na dem first discover how to convert this thing, that one na dem first create am, but there are many other ones, but the one wey people dey use the most na ASCII. Now make we talk about ASCII. Wetin ASCII gangan come be? Now ASCII, which I tell you before say na American Standard Code for Information Interchange, na standard way dem use to represent character for computer. That's, they don create the pattern wey dem dey take dey represent every English character wey exist, from ABC to 1, 2, 3, to addition, to subtraction, to every character. If you look your keyboard, each and every character wey you see there for your keyboard, all of them get wetin dem represent. E get binary representation, and that binary representation I go show you. E be set of rules. This same ASCII, e be set of rules wey assign numbers to character like letter, digits, and symbol, so that computer fit understand and work with them. Remember, all of these things wey we dey type, our computer no understand am, but the computer needs to translate am. So when e translate am, e go understand wetin you mean. E just like when you dey follow a Yoruba man talk. If you dey talk for your own language, or you dey follow Igbo man talk, you dey talk for your own language, the man no understand, but the man need somebody wey go translate am, abi? And when the thing don dey translated, the machine itself go come understand. Now, the only thing wey the computer understand, abeg no forget, the only thing wey the computer understand na machine code, which is zeros and one. So how this thing dey possible? Na through something like ASCII. For example, the ASCII code for letter A, that means if you type letter A, the number wey e dey send to am na 65, which the computer go come later convert to binary. All of this pattern I go show you. Another one na the small letter A. If you type small letter A, na 97 e mean for decimal. If the binary wan represent am, e get im own pattern. Another one wey we get na number 1. You see your number 1, if na to translate am, we dey translate am to something like 49, which your computer go later understand, and so on. Meaning we get many of them wey we dey do, but these are just few. Now, ASCII na one of the first and simple character encoding scheme. It's not the only one, but na im be the first one wey dem go first do. So ASCII na one of the first and simple character encoding scheme wey dem use for computer. It was the first ever, because na the Americans na dem first discover am. So na dem discover how to represent characters with binary wey the computer fit take understand. E give each character wey e support. That means every character wey e support one specific 8-bit code from 0 to 127 to represent every character wey exist for English language. For ASCII, character like big and small letter, digits, punctuation mark, and some control flow like new line, carry return, they represent by their own specific 8-bit character. Meaning all of these characters, they get their own way wey dem take dey design am. Una no worry, for the next video I go show una how we take dey do all of these things. If you wan sabi more about ASCII, that means if you wan learn more about this ASCII, if you wan go deep into am, you know me, I just give you small summary, I just summarize am, I just gather small things, collabo them together, use am take dey explain. But if you wan go deeper, understand how e take dey go to this website wey we dey call www.ascii-code.com. There you go learn more about ASCII. You go know how all the character be. But before I do that, I show you the design. Now, this is the normal character stand. This is the structure. This is how we take to represent every character that exists. You can see we have, by this side, we have the ASCII representation of every character, and here we have the decimal. That means when I tell you 64 or 67 the other time, 65 the other time, see 65 here, this is the decimal representation. When that's 65, they can't translate go 01 00 0001. If you count them now, 8 character there, that is 8 bits. 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. If you want to learn more about them, I will show now in the next video. So when you press character like A, Wetin you dey actually send to the computer na 65. Now the computer, which is your CPU, go come translate am to 01000001. And same thing goes to every other character. See small letter A. Small letter A now we dey represent am with 97, which is what? 011000001. And every other character, you go see your normal one. Let's say we enter 1 or 2. 1 gangan, if you press 1, e dey send 49, which in turn returns what? 00110001. Na so the computer. Although the reason why these things you no dey know how e take dey go, because e dey work at a nanosecond. That means e dey very fast. Once you press am, immediately you go see am. But all of this calculation don go, but you no dey see am because the computer dey very fast. Now this is ASCII. If you wan learn more, remember I don show you the website. Go that website, you go learn more about ASCII. Another one wey we get na the one wey we dey call Unicode. Wetin be Unicode? Unicode na another character encoding scheme wey dem dey use for computer wey waka pass ASCII. Another one entirely na Unicode. You know, the first one wey I show you only show us code for English language. What about the French? What about the Germans? What about the Russians? What about every other country? So the world gather together, they come create this thing wey we dey call Unicode. Now, Unicode, e dey handle a large number of characters from different language and culture, making sure say computer fit show and process character from all over the world. That means every language wey come exist now fit if we fit translate am into English into wetin computer fit understand through using wetin we dey call Unicode. Meaning the world gather together come created this Unicode. Remember say the first one ASCII na America create am. For example, while ASCII only handle characters with 7 bits, that is, you know, if you count the number, or actually na 8 bit o, but if you count am, the ones wey dem use na only 7, from 0 to 127. Unicode fit use more than 32 bits, up to 32 bits currently gone. And that's why if you check some computer, they go tell say na 32-bit system, na 64-bit system. Because of the representation of character wey dem dey use, na im make dem dey get those bit differences. So as Unicode dey do from 32 and above up to even more than to represent character. This means say Unicode fit represent plenty more character wey dem dey different language, special symbol, and even emojis wey people dey use for communication. If you wan sabi more about Unicode, make you go this website wey we dey call home.unicode.org. You go home.unicode.org, you go learn more about Unicode. Now, we don talk about the basics of computer. Remember, we dey talk about language. Now, wetin come be programming language itself? And wetin programming language has to do with this? Now, make we just imagine am like this. Let's say you be Yoruba person and you wan talk to an Hausa man or an Igbo man. You know say the language wey the person dey talk, e go dey different. The language wey you say dey talk, e dey different. Who talk say una two no even understand pidgin, na wey una no understand English? How una come fit take dey share una idea? How una fit dey communicate with una sef? The only way for una to fit dey communicate with una sef na to look for somebody wey go dey translate, somebody wey understand Yoruba and Igbo, wey be say if you tell am Yoruba word, im go translate am to Igbo wey the other person go understand. And the Igbo man, if im talk im own Igbo, im go translate am to wetin the Yoruba man go understand. And na there, na wetin programming language be that for computer. So you know say the machine language, you no understand am. Only the computer understand the machine language. But human being, we understand English language. So what it does is it translates into the programming language. Na im dey serve as the intermediary. Na im dey serve as a translator. We go take the language wey you dey speak for English, we go take the language wey you dey speak for French, we go take am, convert am into binary. Na programming language dey do like that. They don build them, make dem dey convert. And na im be the thing wey all of this training wey we dey do for now go dey about. How to work with these languages, how to use this language do operations wey we know today, wey people dey do. How we take dey use am dey build programs, softwares wey people dey use am dey build websites. All of that we go dey teach una for this training. Now, programming language na one kind language wey people fit use to yarn computer how e go take waka and do better things. E be like say na the middleman between the person and the computer, like I don tell you. So na im dey do as middleman. Na im go dey middleman, tell computer say you do like this. If the computer do like that, if the computer do the thing finish, you go translate am to wetin the human being go understand. Na the programming language dey in charge They do all of those things. Like I said, like the translator, when a Yoruba man and an Igbo man won't communicate, the person wey dey for middle wey dey translate to Igbo and Yoruba na translator for here na im be programming language. As you dey use programming language, you fit write code and instruction wey computer go fit understand and follow. Dat means if you wan tell the computer wetin to do, na you go write am with programming language, and the programming language na im go come dey help the person dey translate to wetin the computer go fit understand and give us result. Dis go fit include creating softwares, yes. When you dey create softwares, you dey create app, website, or making the computer solve problems. Example of programming language na Python, Java, C++ or JavaScript. So all of these things na dem make up a programming language, which are the things wey we go dey teach una for dis training. Although we go dey do dem one by one, we no go do all of dem once as e go, but as we go dey take am one by one, I believe say you go understand. So all of these things na wetin we dey call programming language. If you get any question, you fit ask for the comment section. If you get anything wey you know say you no too understand well, you fit reach out to us make we teach you or make we explain better. We go like to hear question from you. If you no fit write am for pidgin, write am for English. Abeg no forget say dis channel na to support you to learn how to do programming language. So we go like, if you go like am, share am, and even subscribe so that we go get more followers, we go get more people wey go dey support dis our program. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.